Welcome back. Thousands of Australian families are increasingly withdrawing their kids from the classroom, with experts reporting a sharp rise in accidental homeschoolers.
Senior lecturer and education expert Dr. Rebecca English joins us now from Brisbane to discuss. Rebecca, thanks for your time today. You've coined this new term, accidental homeschoolers. What exactly does that mean? Who does that cover?
Accidental homeschoolers refers to the majority of the homeschool population now. So they're people who started at school, or maybe they tried a few schools and then found it just really didn't work for them.
So what are the factors contributing to this growing trend of homeschooling?
Well, my research suggests there are three main factors for why parents might change to homeschooling after a period of schooling. The first one is if the child has some special learning needs. Maybe they struggled in the classroom because of those. A second pressure on the students is if they're bullied at school, maybe they'll refuse to go to that school again or any school. And the third issue really is the pressure on teachers themselves to try and manage all these competing needs in the classroom.
What role has the pandemic played in this?
Massive role. So the numbers were tracking up prior to the pandemic, but with 2020 we saw those school closures, and then suddenly parents thought, hey, hang on a minute, maybe my kid's happier at home, maybe I can do this. So they had a almost risk-free trial.
It feels like women are probably going to be, taking the brunt of this though, because what are the implications of this in the short and the long term for them?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this does tend to fall more to women, and my research suggests that it's principally women who do the homeschooling, and that obviously has impacts for them in terms of earnings in the short and medium term. And then there are longer term implications as well in terms of their ability to save superannuation for their own retirements.
We know there are big issues with staff shortages at the moment, with a big, mass exodus of teachers from the industry as well. How does that factor into this, and what needs to be done to improve that situation?
Look, there are pressures on students, parents and teachers in mainstream school, and I am at pains to point out that this is not an issue around teachers. This is a systemic issue about attracting and retaining people to the teaching profession, and it's not just in Australia. The numbers of homeschoolers growing is a worldwide phenomenon. We see it in Canada, we see it in the USA, we see it in the UK and New Zealand. So all over the world, facing similar pressures with teacher shortages, but also with the rise in homeschooling.
Right, so if you are unsure about whether to keep your kids in school or you want to keep them homeschooling, what's your advice?
My advice would be that homeschooling is really quite difficult. It really isn't for everybody. If it were me and it was my children that I was trying to decide what to do, I'd do a lot of research, going onto those Facebook groups, talking to people on those groups. I'd go to some meetups or some co-ops, and I'd talk extensively with parents. I would also talk to my child and also my child's teacher if I was withdrawing them from school, to get their perspective.
Okay, really interesting. Dr. Rebecca English, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much
Rebecca.
for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.
G'day, it's Ali.
And Karl.
Thanks for watching the Today YouTube channel.
Subscribe now for brand new videos every day and exclusive bonus clips.
Ali, say please.
Please? Why?
Please? I don't know.